So welcome back to the Spence Arena in Novi Sad. The final round of games in the preliminary stages of the Euro 2012 here. And Spain look to be heading for victory here against Russia, 17-11 at the break, and the Russians are struggling defensively. In attack, they're beginning to give possession away time and again and being hit on the fast break, and the Spaniards will feed on that all day long. As long as you give them the opportunity. Hombrados, a 39% save rate in goal, and he's launched the wingers Juan Garcia, Roberto Garcia, Ugalde, Tomas scoring freely. And it means that as things stand at the moment, Russia heading out of the competition. We leave Spain, France and Hungary to go through to the main round from this group. Spain with 3 points from their win against France and a draw against Hungary. France and Hungary play each other later today, of course, to decide the final standings and how many points they will take into the next stage. So here we go then, Russia throw off the second half as Maximov somehow managed to fire them up again for the second half. They looked really pale shadow themselves at the end of that first half after a really good start and an 8-7 lead. But that 10-minute spell without goals has proved very costly. Well, that's better. Cherno Ivanov from the line. Second goal for him. It's a long way back though. But as I said earlier, let's not discount it, because Slovakia showed that if you believe, you can do yesterday. Serbia looked shell-shocked at the end of that game when they conceded that last-second penalty to go in front. That's gone over the top, but it's a free throw. A definite shove, and Ivanov sportingly acknowledges his own mistake. Aguinagaldi sent flying. Takes the ball, and Ivanov's not only inside the area, but also jumping on top of him. So chance for Garcia Parondo, maybe, who's taken the first, or the only two successful penalties of the game for Spain after Romero missed the first one. And Maximov, they're just trying to connect the defence with Rasvortsev, and Russia have Bogdanov in goal now. He's had a great championship so far. He's up against Cañelas. Underneath, and Bogdanov committed himself too early. He went very quickly, lifted his leg, and the moment you've done that, then the ball's going underneath, I'm afraid. It is a good match. You try and make the other player move first. Needed to release the ball. So 4 penalties for Spain so far in this game, and they've actually afforded to miss one and still have a comfortable lead. Atman trying to put the ball over the top, but he was the shortest of the central players there and couldn't quite manage it. But a foul by Gurbindo, and he's picked up a yellow card in the process. Gives a free throw back. So third and final yellow card now for the Spanish team. Atman, that ball going way over the top as Sarmiento was closing in on Atman. It panicked him a little, and Igropoulou launched it too high. Spaniards pushing up suddenly and panicking the Russians into some passes. Back to the 5-1 defence they had earlier on, and the captains off the bench. Kokcharov at the front, not quite as deep as they were playing at the beginning. Can't afford to really, with the line players loitering at the back. Out of position was he. Free throw. Aguinaga not controlling the ball when he was fouled by Cherno Ivanov. And there is space, of course, by definition. If you play a 5-1 defence, there's a little bit more room to manoeuvre for line players. And Cherno Ivanov timed it well. He did the foul and then let go very quickly before Aguinagalde could try to turn. He'd done the damage already at that point, what he set out to do, and that's put him off balance. Balls play on, say the referees. Ivanov doesn't release it. Great defense by Gurbindo. And the throw's got to be taken from the right place. And it just goes to show the Russians just have got Atman Comes back out again. Kokcharov's replaced Dibirov in on the left wing, staying there not just in defence now but also in attack. Here he comes as an extra line play. He's dispossessed. Straight down the centre. For García Parrondo. Straight around Oleg Grams, who's gone back in for Bogdanov. Goal number 5, top scoring in the game now. Jumps, waits for the goalkeeper to commit himself. Shot very late as he was going back down again. And was close enough to almost put it round the back of the goalkeeper. And we've now got a penalty and a 2-minute suspension. Moros looks incredulous at the referee. He can't believe it. He was already on a yellow card. He will go off, the defence specialist from Barcelona. Let's see if he's got a claim here. Well, he didn't do anything wrong. I have every sympathy for him. There was a bit of a push on the line play. You'd say, well, penalty. Even that was touch and go. 2 minutes, definitely not. No problem for Igropoulos. Andrados not really exploding into that, rather casually lifting his right leg, and Igropoulos just shot down next to the standing leg. He's still on good stats though, 39% at the half-time break, and the Russians have switched from a 5-1 defence to a 5-0-1 because of the advantage of the extra player. Free throw. Gorbindo brought down once more by the tough man, Cherno Ivanov. Goes in with Rasbortsev. Still Sarmiento being individually marked by Kokcharov. And interesting that they pick him to individually mark because he's such a quick player. He's just going to make Kokcharov work. He'll move him around from place to place. He doesn't have to go particularly fast. He just has to change direction a few times, and you're so much more on edge when you're the defender chasing. Well, I'm afraid Russia are a long way off their target here to beat Spain. What slim chances they had of getting themselves back into this competition are fading away. So Gorbindo at right back. Oh, clever play, but it's come off the bar. It stays out, and a chance now for the Russians if they're quick. Ivanov, Kokcharov releases the ball into the wing. Igropoulos did well, but the defence got back so quickly. That works. Cherno Ivanov and Igropoulos working well. Good tandem. Looked for the shot, and the defence not working well. Sarmiento shouldn't have been jumping for Igropoulos. His man was Cherno Ivanov. He left him. And for a man who started off the competition used predominantly in defence, he's not doing badly. 3 from 3. 5 goals in it. Spain still short-handed. To come back again. Free throw. Tell you the other game in Versace, Slovenia 24-18 up. That could book Slovenia's ticket in the main round at Iceland's expense if that continues. In the 9th minute of the second half, and the crowd a little quiet. That's only because, as you can probably guess, with the berets, there's some of the French and the Hungarian supporters waiting for the next game. Change on the right wing with Spain bringing in García Parrondo. He goes straight around at the back now at full strength. Aguinagalde almost getting in the way of Gorbindo. García can go away again. Shot goes wide, but it's a free throw. Kokcharov holding his own against Sarmiento. Kokcharov goes back up again, and he's switched back from a 5-0-1 now to a more regular 5-1. Saved by Grams, but it's another free. Sarmiento fouled in the act of shooting from 9 meters out. There is Kokcharov, who scored 1,100 goals for Russia in his 220 appearances. It's hard to believe that he could have fallen out of favour with the coach for a couple of years when he was in Slovenia. Didn't get picked. Looks for the line, nearly stolen, but again unfairly, and it's a 2-minute suspension. The foul on Gurbindo by Rasvortsev. Tries to look innocent. Let's have a quick look and see. And he's holding him around the neck, and I'm afraid anything around that height, I don't think it was malicious, it was clumsy more than anything else, but he caught him around the neck. He should know better. The problem is, of course, that the textbook will tell you, you go for the shoulder, or at least the bicep with one hand and the hip with the other to try and control the body movement. If you miss the bicep, then I'm afraid then the danger is that you can end up around the neck, but on that occasion it was just clumsy. Nearly intercepted. It is! Good play by Cherno Ivanov, the ball's released. Kovalyev. And even short-handed, they're playing well now. That's a run of 3 goals without reply. Well, the Spaniards not at the point really of panicking, but certainly the Russians are showing great spirit here to try and get back into the game. Raúl Entre Ríos. Puts it underneath. So that brings to an end the run of 3 goals in 4 minutes for the Russians. Bringing some respect back to the scoreline, but unfortunately still some way off. Hombrados saves well, and the ball's picked up by the Spaniards. Looking for a phase 2 attack here. Gurbindo into the line. No, it's intercepted, and again they're giving possession away cheaply. It's almost as if they think this match is in the bag already. Well, that's unwise by Gropolo, who sometimes gets a little bit of Russia blood to the head and just does rash things. Probably thought, well, I'll get the free throw anyway, but you've got to be careful when you do that, because sometimes referee will just say, well, you know what, you took the chance, you decided to shoot from 10 meters out, why should I give you a second chance? Free throw. Foul committed by Viran Moros, 28-year-old Barcelona. Back player, Atman. Ivanov and Maximov trying this formulation again with Ivanov and Atman. Possession lost, and back comes Spain. And that's a penalty, fouled on the line. Kovalyev, well, the captain having a little argument with the referee there. Gurbindo is fouled. Kokcharov goes up to the referee to say, I didn't do anything. Change the goalkeeper for Russia. In comes Vadim Bogdanov, the 25-year-old Neva St. Petersburg goalkeeper, the 7 caps. So let's see what he can do against Canellas. And the answer's nothing. Again, he commits himself really early. Commits himself far too early, in fact, as he lifts his right leg and the ball is bounced in next to him. Third goal for Canellas. So Vasily Filipov has now come into the playmaker's role. Very experienced, but not had a lot of court time here. Shalmenko dummied the first shot. I'm not sure he meant to dummy it, but just couldn't get it away. And as he fell to the ground, the defenders seemed disinterested in blocking him. Took off again. First goal for Shalmenko in the game as we hit the 10-minute mark in the second half. Second line play goes in for Spain. That pass was intended for a drive-through, but it's been intercepted instead. Dibirov's away. And as soon as Hombrados goes down, he absolutely blasts it into the top of the net. Takes off here, look at this, waits, and as soon as Hombrados starts to slide down, Oh, he stole it again. Top right-hand corner. And 3 goals in very quick succession. See Russia close the gap again. And there's the problem. Sarmiento slipping. Interestingly, he goes over one of those advertising strips. And sometimes there is a problem with those that you find your shoes don't quite have the same grip on them. If there's any moisture on them, whilst the floor will absorb it and still give you grip, the advertising strip won't necessarily. Well, Dibirov now 4 goals, 2 of them inside 45 seconds. 9 turnovers suffered now by Spain, 8 by Russia. And Spain know they can't be too lax about this. And that's an attacker's foul, straight into the defender. And a lot of this is phase 1 and phase 2 attacks for the Russians. Save, but the rebounds come out kindly. And Cherno Ivanov finishes off the job. Well, 4 goals now without reply. There's the first shot by Shelmenko. It's well saved by Hombrados, but there's no one there to help him on the rebound. And Cherno Ivanov gets goal number 4, and suddenly Russia are back within 2. Team timeout for Valero. If they lose here today, well, it does reopen things a little bit. Although they would need to lose by, I think, a minimum of 4 goals before they win serious danger of not going through to the next round. I can't quite see Russia closing that up, but who knows? We've seen some fairly weird results here in this competition so far. Hungarians in particular coming back from a long way back, and the Slovakians yesterday came back from a very long way back at half-time. 7 goals down, outscored their opponents by 7 in the second half. Well, Maximov trying to stay calm, not get too excited about the fact that his team have just managed to put 4 past the Spaniards without reply. And time is still on their side to win this game, but they've got to win it big time. But they'll hope... The Russians, though, a victory here, and then they'd have to hope that France or Hungary won their match. It wasn't a draw. As long as it's a win for one of the teams in the next game, Russia would go through to the next round if they can just beat the Spaniards. Into the line, Aguinagalde, oh, save, but it's a penalty. He's fouled on the line, and Grams falls back and goes, well, I've done my bit, I can't believe this. Into the line, and it's a little shove in the back by Dibirov on Aguinagalde. You really can't fault the commitment of Oleg Grams, the 27-year-old Tchaikovsky goalkeeper. He's really done an amazing job in goal, and Dibirov's got himself a 2-minute suspension for that shove in the back. Doesn't look too happy, but I'm afraid it's the right decision for the Serbian referees. So penalty, Canellas. Oh, and it's saved by Grams again. 2 missed penalties now, Romero and now Canellas. And maybe they should have stayed with Roberto Garcia. So Filipov, hugely experienced playmaker, comes back into the fray now at the centre. Interesting that the connection doesn't always work with Atman, but Atman is not based at Tchaikovsky like the other 13 players. He plays in Belarus for Dynamo Minsk. Hard work by the Russians, who even short-handed are desperately trying to find a gap through there. Free throw. Passive play is being warned of by the referee. They've got to take a shot soon or lose possession. It's a subjective decision by the referee as to when they blow, or put their arm up rather, to warn for passive play. They decide when they feel that the team isn't trying to attack at goal enough. And it's also their call as to how long they give after putting their arm up to warn the attacking team before they lose possession. Focused Spanish defence. Don't want any slip-ups here, not like the Hungary match where they seemed in front all the time, but just never quite getting control of the game. And in the end, it was a real hold-up on the line as the Hungarians edged past them with a last-second penalty taken by Chazar to give them that point. Come off the defence as felt forced to shoot. Not a great effort, and Makeda, who's come in defence, picks up the loose ball. Back in go Gurbindo and Aguinaldo. Nothing used at the moment in defence, and a change on the wing. Victor Thomas comes in, the Barcelona winger, in place of Roberto Garcia. Saved by Grams, but it comes out against, picked up by Cañelas. Hard shot by Alberto Entre Rios, but well telegraphed. Is he going to try again? Look for Cañelas. It was nearly intercepted by Aslanyan, who came out. He was within an inch of stealing that ball. Into the line. Shelmenko bringing down the line player. Looked very theatrical as Aguinaldo went down. This Atletico Madrid, 110 kilos. Shelmenko hasn't quite got that kind of weight behind him. Kiev-born Russian back player. 2 goals in it only. Russia back to full strength again. That's gone in. On a 2-minute suspension just as they get back to full strength. Cañelas scores. Look at it again. Well, again, was it a 2 minutes? I don't agree with that one again. That's his second 2-minute suspension. I think he's had a couple of hard calls against him. He's a big guy, and sometimes people just assume that he's at fault. And that's really unlucky for the Russians, having quite literally just got back to full strength. They're short-handed once more. And that having managed to keep the Spaniards without scoring for 5 minutes. Well, they got 4 goals of their own, and it's really taken the momentum out of the Russian attack, those 2 consecutive suspensions. Atman into the wing. Shelmenko with the front defender, they're being made to work really hard. Filipov's got to stay available, otherwise Shelmenko will find himself isolated on left side. Chipurin comes around, trying to flatten the defence. And that's got to be a 2-minute suspension for the same reasons, grabbing from behind, and off goes Roberto Garcia. Valero commiserates with him as he comes across, but you'll see here, he took the arm. Wow, I thought he'd hooked the arm. The replay suggests actually he didn't. Maybe the Serbian referee is getting a little whistle happy out here. It's even the odds out at least, but can the Russians get the machine going again now after the break? There's someone on the left. Well, Shelmenko didn't need him in the end. They're fighting for their lives here, the Russians. Shelmenko gets his second. 45 seconds before the Russians are back to full strength. They'll then have about 30 seconds of a power play. Cañelas. He gets a free throw. Midway through the second half. 2 goals in it only now. Oh, saved! Didn't know where that had gone, Grams. Look for the break now. But the Spaniards in defence very quickly. Chipurin puts it back out again. Filipov takes the crossover. He's got a line player to think about. Held around fairly high, I thought, by Cañelas. It's been a free throw only, though. Cherno Ivanov trying to make space, and the Russians accelerating the pace. Well, they've got to give everything now. They can recover tomorrow, and they may have even more time than that to recover if they can't get the win here. That's another one back. Cherno Ivanov, number 5. And they're Well, is it going to be a match like the game against Hungary for the Spaniards, where they thought they had it? 5 from 5, impressive statistics for the huge 2 meters and 3 Cherno Ivanov. Power play for still just a handful of seconds. And the Spaniards happy to let the clock run down here. Stayed in, they're back to full strength. Aguinaldo on the line, the ball's very deep in the wing. It was clever play to put it back to the line player, but the whistle's already gone and it's a free throw. Looks for the long range shot, Cañelas. Standing there, didn't get the ball, Dibirov stole it. And frustration for the Russians, but they've stolen a lot. The Spaniards getting in too close with their attacks at the moment. That's an attacker's foul, surely. He's sent 2 defenders flying. Well, Entre Rios turns to the referee and says that should have been 2 minutes. Let's have a look and see. Well, actually, from that angle, the referee's got it right. Dived in his path. So Entre Rios. Alberto, that is. The older of the 2 brothers. Gets goal number 3 for him. Bit of a discussion going on the bench now. Player's just been suspended briefly. Not sure if something rattled Maximov's cage. Seemed to go over to the table, and they've been called over, the referees, now by the match supervisor, Uwe Stemberg. So it's going to be a Spanish throw. Trying to work out what the problem is. That's upset Maximov even more. Now he's up at the table. Not too happy he is. He's saying you called a timeout. So did he put his card on the table, I wonder? And the table officials were too slow to call it. Well, he's walked away now. There's a little bit of confusion down on court, but it looks like Tomas is going to resume play with a throw for the Spaniards. Possession's gone back over. And the suspension for Russia served out now. They're back at full strength. And that's a shame, a little bit of confusion here at the end. Entre Rios into Makeda, who's coming to the frame at right back. Save, Oleg Grams. Shelmenko up the court to Filipov. Filipov again back to the center. Shelmenko through the legs of the keeper. And it's a different Russia we're seeing all of a sudden. Shelmenko's 3rd goal. Good height, and using the line play, Cherno Ivanov as a screen. 1 goal in it. Now Spain wouldn't really be in trouble unless they lost this match by 4 goals. Free throw. Aguinaldo felt it should have been a penalty, but I'm afraid line players always do. Takes the ball there. Free throw again. Makeda has gone down. Makeda, who had a good tournament so far, a relative newcomer to the Spanish team, plays for Aragon, 27 caps, 31 goals. So not a prolific goal scorer before, but has really found his mark here. Started off being used a lot in defence, but now has had a more offensive role. He certainly did against Hungary. And did a fair bit of damage with France. He goes in on the line. Looking for the line play. Oh, Aguinaldo, they've got to close the gap behind him. Nearly turned and ran to the line there, 2 meters, without a defender in sight. Rasbortsev just managing to correct things with a bit of help from Dibirov coming across. Trying to get his body in the way, but hanging onto the shirt, and that final shove gives the free throw. Free throw again. Long attacks here, and Shalmenko having a discussion with Cherno Ivanov about relative positioning in defence and who's in charge of who. Passive play's being worn now. Spaniards need to take a shot. Oh, it's gone in. It's almost as if the defender sprung-loaded that shot by Cañelas. He was held back, and when the defender let go, it was almost like a spring going at the same time. 24-22. Cañelas with 5 now, 71% success rate. He's a joint top scorer. Oh, stolen, poor pass. Ivanov getting back quickly. Tomas to the centre. Makeda blocked. Great play by Oleg Grams. Here he is. Makeda turns quickly. 33% save rate for the Russian keeper. He had a point to prove after a lackluster performance so far, and a team timeout has been called by Russia. Vladimir Maximov seeing his team so close to getting the win that they need, and yet not managing to edge past the Spaniards. Spaniards always just doing enough, and then they just put in 1 or 2 extra goals and then make the Russians work for it again, and then they just seem to ease away. Just wait.
Он пристал к тебе, вот ты дал мяч и побежал. Вот ты берешь мяч и иди вот к этому игроку. Вот сюда иди.
Most of them, 13 of them playing for Tchaikovsky Medvedi,
а он будет вот здесь,
the
понятно?
Moscow-based club where Maximov is also the head coach. It's a spell where they won the competition very easily, and I wasn't sure it was particularly good competition for them, but it's not so easy these days. There are lots of good clubs appearing in Russia, Neva St. Petersburg amongst them.
Alberto para superar tú. Pero si no, entra por detrás, te colocas aquí y que Julen vaya a jugar con Alberto. Trabajamos 2 y 2, solo 2-4. Solo aquí hay cuidado con la falta de ataque. Jorge, de acuerdo.
Recording of the Spanish timeout. The Spaniards really not able to completely stamp the authority on this game as we enter the last 10 minutes. What could end up being the last 10 minutes of Euro 2012 for Russia if they can't get a win here today. Chipurin, maybe turning provider from the alternative line player. Dibirov comes around, releases the ball to Atman, but it's a poor pass. Goes in behind. Shalmenko, it's picked up, the ball is loose, and Trerios happy to slow things down after Hombrados gets to it. And then the pace comes back again. Cañelas into the wing. Top corner, and again, just when the Russians seem to close the gap, the Spaniards hit back. Ugalde. Fourth goal for Ugalde, and the lead goes back to 3. It's a real test of nerves for the Russians. Deep defence again, this 3-2-1 defence that's hovering around 13 metres. And the ball's gone out of play, throw-in. Spain have control, and they don't need to rush it now. Time very much on their side. Chipurin releases the ball. The attacking foul, in fact, it has nothing to do with the ball going out to the side. So the Russians with this 5-1 defence, Dibirov at the front, he's laid off trying to pick individual players, especially trying to individually mark Sarmiento. That's going to be exhausting at the best of times. Free throw for Spain. Maximov thought that was an attacking foul. Clock's been stopped anyway. Let's have a quick look and see if he's right, Makeda. Well, I have to say he's gone in with his shoulder. I'd be tempted to agree with Maximov on that one. It is tough though being a goalkeeper. Things happen in a nanosecond, and you don't have the advantage of the replay, of course, down there. And Cañelas, the 25-year-old from Atletico Madrid, given the benefit of the doubt here. Relative newcomer to the team, 46 caps only. I said it's all relative. 2 World Championships under his belt. Going through, superb. Cañelas took the defender away as he slipped off to the left-hand side. And Aguinagalde was suddenly clear. Look at this, he turns. And Igor Pulodful And all of a sudden, it looks like a mountain to climb again for the Russians, who'd managed to point to get back to within one. That will certainly help. Hombrados annoyed with himself, thought he should have got to that. 108 caps, Kovalyev. But 3 goals in it and time running out for the Russians to salvage their Euro 2012 ambitions here. Gurbindo has gone back in for Makeda at right back for Spain. Oh, all the way through, penalty, arm taken in the act of shooting. Rasvortsev left on his own at the back. He just had too much space to come in. Dibirov was off centre, should have been in his path. Instead he came in from the side, trying to push him, but I'm afraid that he had too much power, and Rasvortsev's got the strength to stop him, but once he's got the momentum going, it's tough, and he's given away the penalty. Some Hungarian fans there at the back, anxiously waiting for the start of their game against France. So can Grams pull off a third penalty save? Garcia Parondo missed the first of them, and Dibirov pushes him to the line. Please help yourself, we're in a rush here. The clock has been stopped. No mistake this time. Garcia makes sure that the pressure stays on the Russians. Chipurin goes in on the line, the Spanish. It's effectively a 5-1 defence. It's so disjointed with the front defender. That's an attacking foul by Igropoulos, straight into the defender. For a defence to be a 3-2-1, you need a degree of cohesion between the front and the back, which when you defend that deep, it's really starts to become a 5-1, although the number 2s on each side still push forwards, interestingly, but just trying to keep the danger from the back players at bay. Gurbindo, that's come off a defender. It'll be a throw-in from the corner. Little dummy off to the right-hand side, little handoff, back to the centre. Maybe a free throw, Cherno Ivanov. Let's have a look and see what happened there. Put his forearm up, I'm afraid, and caught him right on the ear. Might see it again from this angle. Canielas comes in, and there's the forearm. And I'm afraid that even if you claim that was accidental, there's no excuse. Forearm going up, and Cherno Ivanov is red carded. He is annoyed, but I'm afraid there was nothing else that the referees could do. That was a poor foul by him. Now, they will be allowed to replace him after 2 minutes, though, but I'm afraid his game is over, and I suspect his Euro 2012 is over. Canielas into the wing, a lot of space there. Grams can't do very much about that, tries to get the ball back out quickly to keep things going. Ugalde, the scorer. Goal number 5 for him. Nice pass in by Canielas, bypassing the left back to buy a bit of extra time and space for the winger. Chipurin tries to put the ball back, wrestled to the ground by Makeda. He turns him. Makeda holding him still there, and then drops him down to the ground. And Makeda's got himself a break as well. And he struggled at times, Makeda. He's a big player, but when he comes out, he's sometimes not quick enough to then cover and get back. And he ends up chasing behind the advancing attacker. And that tends to result in 2-minute suspensions. Chipurin into the far post, just managed to keep it in. They're not too far off, but I'm afraid time is running out for them to close the gap further. Chipurin's second goal, going past Jose Javier Hombrados, 39-year-old Spanish keeper. Well, he could have shot there, decided to hold off. Cañelas, penalty. Rasvortsev caught on his own effectively, and Cañelas almost seemed happy to go for the penalty. But look at that, defending inside the area. It's a very casual walk past and a brush. So he goes away there. Look at this, little shove, and then he walks off. You will argue, well, I didn't touch him. It's difficult to see the contact, but he was inside the area. More some discussion. So can Drums stop a third penalty in this game? Garcia. Oh, dreadful penalty. He misses the second one over the top of the bar. Almost too casual, as we're well inside the last 5 minutes now. Chipurin, Ivropulo, Filipov. Probably trying to quickly pass the ball into the wing, but Tomas brings an end to that attack. Free throws taken quickly. Gropulo into the wing. That was good play, but the winger didn't get the ball exactly in the right place. Atman. Passive play's got to come soon. They're going sideways. No one's driving in. It has. The referee's arm's gone up, and they do lose possession. It's of urgency, but I'm afraid no drive by the Russians. It was all sideways movement. Gurbindo going back in again. Spain short-handed for just 20 seconds. It won't be enough, I'm afraid, for the Russians to take advantage of it, and it's going to take something superhuman now, and a complete failure by Spain in attack and defence for this to turn around. Well, it'll confirm what a lot of people thought was the likely result. Spain back to full strength here, and that is that Spain, but certainly they were favourites to win this game, and that they will main round with France and Hungary. Hungary know they've got 1 point to take into the main round. They'd love to beat France though and make that 3 as well. France the defending champions though. In real danger of going to some of the Hungarians. It's not because they're completely disinterested by this game. I think they're saving their energies for their home side. Free throw, 3 minutes to go. Chipurin still pleading his innocence at the bottom of the picture, number 20. Inside the area, but he's saying, I'm not holding, but the problem is he is standing inside the area. Passive play is already being warned though by the referee, the arms up. Spain will need to take a shot fairly soon. They do, and it sails past the goalpost. Filipov looks for options. Atman on the left-hand side. Dividov is back in again. Picked up inside the area. Entre Rios was still on the ground. Dampness on the floor, play on, say the referees, ignoring that for the moment. Filipov cuts back in again. Atman. Oh, misread by Hombrados. I think he probably thought that was going to be an attacker's foul, the way he's looking at the referee. And thought he was maybe otherwise going to shoot with his wrist and put it around the goalpost. So into the last 2 minutes of this Group C match here in Novi Sad. Spain completing their preliminary stage, going into the main round. One of the big favourites before the tournament. That was beautifully done. Somehow scooping the ball off the ground to give it to Tomas on the wing. Look at the pass here, whoop, and up in the air. That was very clever thinking, and it bought an extra maybe 1 yard or so for Thomas to go through and score his third goal. Response from the Russians. Igropoulos, goal number 6 for him. I'm afraid they've run out of time, the Russians. 3 goals down, coming up to 1 minute remaining. Dibirov pushes up deeper than ever onto Raúl Entrerrios. Trying to disrupt the build-up at the back. Alberto Entrerrios now comes out to the back. Into the line. Couldn't quite control it the first time, but the referee's saying there was a little shove by Filipov. Entrerrios. Aguinagalde, saved by Grams. Filipov. Igropoulos blasts it into the back of the net. Well, 3 quick goals by him. That's number 7 in the game. It's going to make the scoreline look somewhat more respectable, but I'm afraid will not change the outcome in this group. It's goal number 8 for him. Almost individual marking now on court. Into the top corner by Aguinagalde. And there's the end. Brings up the 30 for Spain, 30-27, and Russia are down and out, I'm afraid. Maximov could not find the solutions here. Every time they got close to Spain, they pulled away again. And Spain go through to the main round with 3 points. And next up, it will be France against Hungary to work out how many points they take through to the main round. But for Russia, it was their final match. They had to win here today. They came to within 1. 23-22, but then once more the Spaniards pulled away with 3 quick goals. Their defence was too solid in the end, and the Russian defence didn't quite function effectively throughout the game. They left gaps behind, they went out but didn't fall back in, and the mistakes saw them hit on the break time and again. The Spanish wingers had a bit of a field day there. So as expected, Spain have taken the points. Disappointment once more for the Russians, who've not had a happy time recently in these European Championships. 12 2 years ago, 13th in 2008. And I'm afraid that bad run continues for them. We'll have the Man of the Match awards very shortly. Smiles all round for the Spaniards. Job done, although that said, job done with a little chink in the armour 2 days ago. They've dropped a point against Hungary, a point they would have thought should have been theirs. They led the game but never quite controlled it enough, and in the end it was a real hold-up by the Hungarians right at the end. And no surprise that Oleg Grams, the Russian goalkeeper, has picked up the Man of the Match award for the Russians. Collects his award. Doesn't exactly have a spring in his step, I'm afraid, for all his hard work. Little reward, 32% save rate. There he is. And Juan Cañelas, the 25-year-old Atletico Madrid back player, picks up the Best Player award for Spain. 5 goals, a 71% success rate in the game. Just missed a couple of shots, one of them from the 7-meter line. But really, Entrerrios there, he knows what the mission is. We want gold here. One of the big favourites in the competition, Denmark, looking a little out of sorts as well. Here the stats then, 62% success rate on the shooting for Russia, 59% for Spain. They were actually scoring with a lesser percentage, but of course they had more attacks, 30 attacks, and a more successful rate on their attacks. Igropoulos, the best of the Russians, with 8 goals, but Roberto Garcia responded with 6 for Spain. And a good performance by Hombrados in goal. Fairly evenly matched here in the second half, just the odd spell by each team when they gave away 2 or 3 goals, that's about it. 5 fast breaks, 6 penalties, and then a lot of activity down the centre and on the left-hand side. Right back position a little sparse, it has to be said. 7 fast breaks for Russia and 1 penalty, and fairly well spread. So Spain have won 30-27. Next up it's Hungary against France. We hope you can stay to watch and see that one. This is how the tables stand at the moment. It could all change after the next game between France and Hungary. We'll take a very short break. Join us again for that match, I hope. But until then, from me, Paul Bray, goodbye.